Christianity, history, based on the life, teachings, death, and resurrection of Jesus Christ in the early 1st century AD in Palestine. Doctrines, believes in one God, Jesus Christ as Savior, and teaches love, forgiveness, and mercy. Sacred texts, the Bible, consisting of the Old and New Testaments. Distribution, spread in the Roman Empire after the death of Christ. Its adoption by Emperor Constantine the Great in the 4th century helped it to spread further and become a state religion. Islam. History. Islam originated in 7th century Arabia with the Prophet Muhammad, who received messages from Allah through the archangel Gabriel. He preached monotheism and called for moral perfection. Teachings. The basic teachings of Islam include believing in one God, Allah, performing obligatory prayers 5 times a day, practicing almsgiving, zakat, fasting during the month of Ramadan, and making the pilgrimage, Hajj, to Mecca. Sacred texts. The Quran, considered the literal word of Allah, and the Sunnah, the examples and teachings of the Prophet Muhammad, form the basis of Muslim belief and practice. Spread. Islam spread rapidly from Arabia around the world through trade, conquest, and missionary activity. Today, Islam is one of the world's largest religions, with billions of followers in every corner of the globe. Buddhism. History. Buddhism originated in the 6th century BC in India with Prince Siddhartha Gautama, who became the Buddha, awakened one. He realized that suffering is inherent in all existence and gained enlightenment by sitting under a Bodhi tree in the city of Bodh Gaya. After this, he began to preach his teachings. Teachings. The basic teachings of Buddhism include the 4 Noble Truths: the truth about suffering, its causes, the cessation of suffering, and the path to the cessation of suffering, and the Eightfold Path: right understanding, intention, speech, activity, effort, attention, and mindfulness. Sacred texts. The main Buddhist texts include the Sutras, which contain the Buddha's teachings, and the Tripitaka, 3 baskets, which consists of suttas, teachings of the Buddha, Vinaya, discipline of monks, and Abhidhamma, philosophical commentaries. Spread. Buddhism spread from India to other parts of Asia, such as Sri Lanka, Tibet, China, Japan, and Southeast Asia. It has become the dominant religion in many of these regions, and has had a significant influence on their culture, philosophy, and art. Judaism, history. Judaism is considered one of the oldest religions in the world. It dates back to the ancient Jewish tribes and their sacred texts, including the Torah, 5 book, which contains basic laws and teachings, as well as historical and wisdom books. Teachings, based on belief in one God, Yahweh, who made a covenant with the Jewish people and gave them the law through the prophet Moses. Main principles include keeping the commandments, 10 commandments, rituals, ceremonies, and traditions, and the teachings of the Messianic time and the return to Jerusalem. Sacred texts. The major sacred texts include the Torah, consisting of the 5 books of Moses: Genesis, Exodus, Leviticus, Numbers, Deuteronomy. The prophets, books of the prophets, and historical books, and the scriptures, wisdom books, poems, and songs. Spread. Judaism is concentrated in Israel, which is the sacred and historical center of Judaism. In addition, large Jewish communities exist in the United States, Europe, and other parts of the world. In history, Judaism has had a significant influence on other religions and cultures, including Christianity and Islam. Hinduism, Tao, history. Hinduism is considered one of the oldest religions in the world and is deeply rooted in Indian history. It has evolved over thousands of years, integrating the various cultures, traditions, and beliefs of the peoples who have inhabited the Indian subcontinent. Teachings. The basic tenets of Hinduism include belief in a multitude of gods and deities that are different aspects of a single Brahman, cosmic spiritual entity. The cyclical concept of time, samsara, karma, the law of deeds and consequences, and reincarnation of the soul. Sacred texts. The major sacred texts of Hinduism include the Vedas, ancient scriptures, the Upanishads, philosophical texts that reveal the doctrine of the unity of all things, the Mahabharata and the Ramayana, epic poems containing stories, myths, and teachings. Propagation. Hinduism has its roots in India and remains the main religion in that country. However, it also has millions of followers in Nepal, Bangladesh, Sri Lanka, and other parts of Southeast Asia. In recent years, there has also been a spread of Hinduism to Western countries, where it has attracted the attention of those studying its philosophy and practices of spiritual development.